I'm very grateful that all of you are here. Let's first take some quick recap, or anyone remembers what we discussed last time. Maybe one or two reflections from last time, and then we will quickly jump into today's verses from text number 41. Yes, I think Anita Mataji has hand raised. That means you are eager to share something. Please.
Yes, Prabhuji. So I want to share the recap from last class. So in last class, Prabhuji, we discussed text number 20, 2.31 to 2.40. And we mainly talked about the two duties, conditional duty and then the constitutional duty. We did talk about Arjuna's reason for not fighting and how Krishna encouraged him and picked him up and motivated him to fight back. And some of the other points that I noted, Prabhuji, was we did talk about Nishkam Karm, like, surrender to Krishna, detach yourself from everything and do your karmas. Then do our best of duty, forget about the joy and pain under the guidance of scripture and, without thinking or worrying what will happen.
Thank you.
Um,
Let's see if someone else wants to share a point or two. Thank you. You shared wonderful reflections. Very nice. Thank you. Anyone else wants to share what really struck you? Any reflections from last time? Yes, Ravi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. The very short point, in the material world, the results matter. And in the spiritual world, the efforts matter. So if you put in effort, it carries on with you.
Very nice. Thank you. Krishna sees the intention. Material world, people see the results. Very nice. Okay, these are all great comments and wonderful points. So I guess we will now start the today's discussion, and we'll start with the Mangala Charan prayers. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadameyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarini Mukam Karoti Vashalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkripaatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gurve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Thank you so much again and again to all of you for taking out your valuable time to study Bhagavad Gita. It is said that how we take bath to purify our body. In the Gita Mahatmya, it is mentioned similarly, when we take bath in the Ganges of Bhagavad Gita, the dirt of this material world is removed. the impurities, the vices like lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, illusion will not stay in the heart of a person who regularly bathes one's consciousness with the nectar of the transcendental message of Bhagavad Gita. So, with that mood and consciousness, let's start the next, uh, today's section, session 10 of our Bhagavad Gita reading from text number 41. So we are still in chapter 2, text number 41 onwards. We will study. We'll try to cover about 10 verses if Krishna willing. And you remember the acronym GITA. The first verses talk about the Guru. Then the next about 15, 20 verses talk about the identity. What is Atma? What is Paramatma? And the next about 25 verses talk about the two duties and how we can what kind of duties will lead to action and reaction, and what kind of duties will lead to bad reaction, and what kind of duties will lead to being free from the cycle of action and reaction. So we will talk about all that aspect today. Let's begin. व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिरेकेह कुरु नन्दन बहुशाखा ह्यनन्तश्च बुद्धयो अव्यवसायिनाम्. Translation: those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. Hare Krishna. Very, very important verse. And Prabhupada gives a very detailed purport to this verse. That how, if we are trying to focus on 100 different things, then do we expect that we will excel? We will not excel in anything. Similarly, those who are on this path means the path of bhakti, the path of bhakti yoga, the path of steady devotion to Lord. Their aim is very, very clear. You remember this story? We have discussed, I believe, one time Arjuna, all the Dronacharya was the teacher of the Pandavas and the Kauravas, and then he asked, what do you see? He was pointing to a tree and said, what do you see? Do you see a bird there? What all do you see? And then different Kauravas said, well, I see the tree, I see different birds, I see the sky. And then someone said, well, I see the bird. What else do you see? Oh, well, I see the green leaves. I see a lot of other things. And I see the fruits. Then he called Arjuna. What do you see? Arjuna said, I only see the eye of the bird. Resolute in purpose, right? So that's what we have to try to become. Resolute on our path. Single-pointed attention. That means that we have to be clear what is our priority in life. His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu mentions a beautiful point. One's priorities shapes one's perspectives. What is our priority? We will find time for that, correct? If someone's priority is, let's say to do, to get a flight tomorrow, okay? One has a flight tomorrow and it's priority for him or her. Then no matter how tired one may be, one will, if the flight is at, let's say 4 a.m., one will get up at 1 a.m., get ready and whatever, and do everything and be at the airport to catch the flight, right? That's a priority. No matter how busy one person, how tired one may be, one will find that. So what should be our priority? Determination, steadiness. Another story which comes in this connection, which I'll share shortly, that we have to become serious on this path and sincere on this path, that that the Supreme Lord Krishna and the words of the Guru are my real goal. and I will do whatever it takes and be resolute in this path. When Srila Prabhupada heard the commentary of this verse from Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who is another great acharya in our parampara, in our guru-disciple succession, he was amazed to hear and to read that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in this that one should take the order of the Guru as one's life and soul. And then Srila Prabhupada, before coming to United States, then he kind of contemplated, deliberated on what his Guru, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, told him to do. That means to share this message in the English language. And then, so therefore, this verse is very, very important for all of us, because this verse inspired Srila Prabhupada to take the message more seriously, to take the instructions of his Guru more seriously. So, in short, we should become resolute in our path of Krishna consciousness. If we have 100 paths, then things will not work. When desires cloud our intelligence and our mind, then dilemmas cloud our intelligence. That means if one has a lot of desires, a lot of hankerings, which we'll read very shortly, then we'll be full of dilemmas. Multi-branch, Bahu Shakha. Shakha means branch. Bahu means anek or multi-branch. If our intelligence is multi-branch, we cannot focus on this resolute path of bhakti or Krishna consciousness. So one has to be determined. These are some of the qualities: being resolute, have enthusiasm, have nishchaya, determination, and perseverance on this path. That no matter what may come, I'll be resolute. Ups and downs will come in everyone's life. Health and disease will come in everyone's life. Wealth and poverty will come in everyone's life. So because that's the nature of this world, nothing is it is temporary. Today our situation may be something, tomorrow it may be totally different. Today one may be a king, tomorrow one could be a pauper. But all these things should not affect the goal, the resolute mission of a devotee. One time there was a bird, and the bird lay the eggs, and the eggs were stolen by the ocean. And then the bird was quite upset. Well, eggs are stolen by the ocean. In short, like the wave came and took the eggs in the ocean. So it was on the ocean bed. The eggs were taken by the ocean god. And the bird, of course, was upset, and what to do? Now, the mother bird tried to capture little water in her beak and throw it away. She would come again, capture a little water, and then throw it away. So like that, kept capturing water and then throw it away. Little. And then ocean god was laughing. Ha ha ha. Do you think, you are just a tiny bird, few inches, and this ocean is so big? Do you think you can ever dry me up? What do you think? No, right? So that's what the ocean god was laughing like this. But the bird continued. The perseverance, the determination, resolute purpose that I will do this no matter what may come. Seeing that, yes, came Garuda, the carrier of Lord Vishnu, the great devotee. And then Garuda said, "Oh ocean, you better return the bird's eggs back. Otherwise, I'll certainly dry you in 1 second." So this is very important story, my friends, that we may be very small, correct? Like the tiny bird. And our efforts could also be very small. But if we sincerely persevere, if we sincerely keep trying and being resolute, that my child is sincerely trying, Krishna will see, oh, my child is trying sincerely, in spite of ups and downs, in spite of health and disease, in spite of all the challenges. We all have unique situations, families, health, and emotions. We all have unique situations which are tailor-made, which we have discussed before. But what we have to do is keep trying to the best of our abilities. And then Krishna will see my child is sincerely trying, and then he will award the mercy. Seeing the effort, he will give mercy. So that means resolute. Faith means unflinching trust in something sublime. I'm reading the purport. When one is engaged in the duties of Krishna consciousness, he need not act in the relationship of the material world. It's a very powerful statement that everything will fall in place if one has that faith, if one has that Shraddha. Shraddha means faith, that firm faith that by executing Krishna consciousness, everything will fall in place. This is the means resolute in purpose. And no matter what may come, I'll not give up my bhakti. Ups and downs will come. Sometimes people will respect, sometimes people will disrespect. Those things will keep coming and going. So, few qualities here for a devotee: determination, enthusiasm, being focused. Even the sunlight example we discussed. The sunlight, if it's spread, or it's not concentrated, it will just be lukewarm. But the same sunlight with the medium of the lens, if it's concentrated, it's like a laser beam. It can burn the paper. Okay. Similarly, when our efforts, whether it is during our chanting, whether during our reading or during anything, when we are focused, then the same efforts will lead to a much more bigger impact. So let's not be lukewarm. Let's not do just tinge of devotion. If devotion is so deep and it will lead to great results, that therefore this point is that just after the verse we read 2.40, even little service can lead to greatest results, right? In 2.40 we read that a little advancement. So even by lukewarm, even if someone just tinge of bhakti, it will help. It will certainly help. But the point is that even if doing a very insignificant act of offering maybe one flower to the Lord, maybe just one day in the whole year, will have a lot of benefit, spiritual merits. Then why will not an intelligent person, vyavasayatmika, vyavasaya means business, correct? A business minded mentality. What is the consciousness in the mind of what is going on in the mind of a businessman, right? He evaluates, she evaluates, right? Will this lead to profit or will this lead to loss, right? That's the main goal of business, to get more profit. Everyone agrees, right? Give a thumbs up if you agree that the main goal of business is to get profit, right? Thumbs up. Awesome. Similarly, a devotee also evaluates. What does it he or she evaluate? Whether this thing will help me in my real business. What is the real business of devotee? To perfect one's life, to perfect bhakti. So if this thing is going to help me, I will do more of it. Like a businessman will think, oh, this investment will help me. I'll invest here more. This will give me a lot of returns. I'll do this more. And this is a bad thing. This is a bad investment. This is just taking my energy, taking my resources, and not giving me returns. Let's stop that. Correct? That's what is basically Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. So in our Krishna conscious journeys also, we can be business minded. In short, we need to evaluate. We need to periodically review. In business, they periodically review like quarterly statements or annual statements, right? How is the business doing? What product is not doing well? Where am I losing my resources and time and energy? How should I change my strategy? Where am I slacking, etc. Similarly, in our spiritual life also, we should do that analysis. We should do that periodic analysis. Where was I last year? Am I going in the right direction? Or the lower propensities are increasing, like lust, anger, greed? Or is my business of bhakti going in the good direction? So we may not be able to perceive it every day, the change, but if we periodically kind of review, then certainly we will feel that. And we must do it. That's the Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. Ekeha Kurunandana, single pointed attention. So a lot of important points are here. And one should take the order of one's Guru, Srila Prabhupada, as one's life and soul and steadily follow it. So sense of purpose and sense of urgency is there, correct? Now one may say, well, what's the urgency? There is so much time. I still have 50 more years to live. My dear friends, we all know the society we are living in. Every day you open the news and there is shootings in a grocery store, shootings in a health club, shootings in a restaurant. Are all those people old and their 60s or 70s or 80s? No. Are all those people poor, uneducated? No. They're all different backgrounds. We don't know what's going to come tomorrow. Newspapers are full with these things, suicides, and just like I shared recently, one family in northern Texas, two young boys, 18 years, 21 years, they killed, shot down their parents, their sister, their grandmother, and then they killed themselves. They were all so-called materially educated people, materially wealthy people, good house, good education, good culture, good everything, at least externally. Real education, we know, is the science of bhakti. But what is going on? We don't know. The world is full of uncertainties. Now, just one of my friends shared that an NFL star player killed 6 people. This is recent news. Former NFL player killed 6 people, and the scientists are saying now we are studying his brain to see what's going on. Why? And then he killed himself. I mean, what is going on in this world? Lack of Krishna consciousness, lack of real understanding. Who am I? Right? Therefore, identity is the first thing we talk about. So I'm not trying to discourage anyone by all these sad news story. Newspapers are practically filled, even the like online news or whatever. These are filled with these stories. But therefore, the real point, a devotee will take it seriously. There is a sense of purpose, there is a sense of urgency, there is a sense of priority. Even in the material world, people take it very seriously. In China, they have this, they train the people who will be winning Olympics and stuff. Can anyone guess? From the age of 2, 3 years, they start training that this person at the age of 20 years will win an Olympic gold medal. That's kind of the harsh training they under. The very careful diet, very careful exercise and flexibility and like a rubber band and whatnot. Even for preparing for exams, sometimes people have to study very, very hard. Now in India, you may be familiar MBBS and IIT, and the people are not just preparing from 11th and 12th. Now they're preparing from 5th class, 6th class, 4th class, or to get admission into that college, or to pass that exam, what to speak of admission. So and there are coaching institutes there. They will get up, they will force the people to get up at 4 a.m. and start studying. So even in the materially, the business minded people, what's going on in their consciousness 24/7? How to grow the business? I was giving the example of Elon Musk last time. It's 80 hours he spends at work. That means 16 hours if we count the 5 days. 16 hours is a lot of time, right? So their consciousness is completely focused on one thing, to grow the business, to grow or whatever they want to achieve, whether it is the Olympic gold medal. So my point here is that even for a materialistic thing, whether it is getting good health, like or a gold medal or some good wealth, etc., people go to any extent. Basically, in short, they become fanatic about it, right? So, but when if someone takes bhakti seriously, they'll say, oh, don't become fanatic, don't become, just take it lukewarm, chalne do, slow and easy, rosy and cozy. Don't take it too seriously. Or don't go to extreme. Hey, we are not saying to stop family, stop jobs, stop no household things, etc. We're not saying to take to that extreme. But the point here is to take the point seriously, that bhakti is an important thing. We're not asking, or Bhagavad Gita is not encouraging to stop taking care of the regular things, rather, but the point is to take the bhakti seriously, not just as a lukewarm thing. That's Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. That will give us wonderful results. If we take it lukewarm, then the results will also be lukewarm. Okay. I guess we can move on to the next verse, and I am quite positive that all of you are reading the purports and as well in your spare time in the reading allotted. Ya imam pushpitam vacham pravaddanti avipaschitaha veda veda vedavarata partha nanyad astiti vadinaha कामात्मनः स्वर्गपारा जन्म कर्म फलप्रदां क्रियाविशेषा बहुलां भोगैश्वर्या गतिं प्रति. Would someone like to read? Anita Mataji, you want to read the translation of this wonderful verse?
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, resultant good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. We'll read the next verse as well, and then we'll do the discussion. भोगैश्वर्या प्रसक्तानां तया प्रिहता चेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि समाधौ न विधीयते. Ms. Manasa Mataji, would you like to read?
Hare Krishna. In the minds of those who are too attached to the sense enjoyment and the material opulence, and who are bewildered, bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to Supreme Lord does not take peace. Thank you.
Thank you so much for reading. So now the point is, who can be resolute in purpose? So we discussed that we have to become resolute. Who can be resolute? So in text 42 and 43, Krishna is saying that if one who has a clear goal, what is the goal of human form of life? That should be very, very clear. What is not the goal of human form of life? If the goal is not clear, then the process will also be not clear, right? If we don't know where to go, then any road will take us there. So we have to first know our destination, and then we use the GPS, the Guru Parampara system, to get to the destination. Correct? So we put the destination. If you don't know the destination, then keep wandering. So what is not being resolute means? Oh, I think the heavenly planets have a nice thing. Let me try to go there. So they may go to heavens. The way the scriptures will say, the Vedas mention about the heavens. The Vedas mention about a lot of things, right? Therefore, it is said, Pushpitam Vacham. They are called flowery words of Vedas. Oh, if you do this, you will get a lot of wealth. Oh, if you do this yagya or this tapa, this austerity, this puja, this ritual, then you will get a good husband. Oh, then if you do this, then you'll get a good wife. If you do this, you will go to upper planets and then you will enjoy there. So, what is the real goal of life? Is the goal of life to go to upper planets? Is the goal of life to get to the lower planets? Is the goal of life to get to a different in a body of a dog or a cat or a what is the real goal of life? Anyone would like to share? Yes, Ravi
Reach
Prabhu.
the reach the Bhagavad Dham and obtain the Krishna Bhakti.
Thank you. Very nice. Anyone else wants to share? Yes, Casey, Mataji, please. Thank you for joining.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, is it devotional service?
Devotional service, yes, bhakti. And by doing so, one will go back home, back to Godhead, or back to the spiritual world. where there is no repetition of birth and death. Whether we are in America or India or London or Australia or Canada or Europe, this world is full of problems, right? Adi Bhautik, Adi Devik, and Adi Atmik, because miseries because of one's own body and mind. I just shared like how even people are killing each other, and suicide, depression, and these mental problems are more than the the physical problem. Then the hurricanes or snowstorms or fires because of natural disturbances, which are also the reactions to the atrocities the human beings are doing to the nature. One will get the right reaction in. And of course, we know this corona situation has been troubling the whole world. Thousands and millions of people have been affected by in their health, in their economic situation, families, disturbances, so many things. This world is a place of suffering. So an intelligent person understands that, tries to see things from a true lens of scriptures, and sees that what is my real home? What is the real goal of life? Is the goal of life maybe temporary suffering? Oh, I'll go to heavenly planets, and then what? And Bhagavad Gita says that after the pious credits are over, then one will come back. It's like taking a short break and going to Hawaii. Okay, nice hotel, nice water and beaches and this. One may do a lot of hard work and save money and get there. But after that, what will happen? The savings will dwindle and back to grind. So an intelligent person thinks, well, is there real happiness and is there eternal real happiness? Yes, that is the goal of life. So one should not get tempted. That is the point. One should not get tempted by short term happiness or short term going to heavenly planets where there are some maybe nectarian drinks, maybe the dances of the apsaras or the beautiful, you know, girls or boys over there. One should not get tempted by that, because the beauty and the opulence of the spiritual world is millions and millions and zillions times more, which we can't imagine. The happiness in the spiritual world, in the Vaikuntha, in the Goloka Vrindavan, having true relationship with the Supreme Lord is unlimited. One time, Srila Prabhupada was asked by a person who was addicted to drugs. And people try to derive happiness in this world, some through drugs, some through opposite sex, and some through wealth, and some through different things. But this is not the real happiness. But it may seem to us in our conditioned state that if I get this drug, I'll be happy, or if I get this thing or object or a gadget or a home or a car or I'll be very happy. But it is just fickle pleasure. And then what happens? The same thing becomes a cause of suffering. Same object, the same thing which we may be aspiring for becomes a cause of suffering. So someone asked Prabhupada, what, and person was a drug addict and addicted to LSD, which was a drug in, I guess, in the 70s, government was trying and whatnot. When Prabhupada came 50 years back, things were a little different. The counterculture was going on in US. So he asked, what is spiritual world? Now to a person who may, and that's the beauty and the maturity of a great soul like Prabhupada, that how to answer to this question to someone who is totally addicted to drugs. Prabhupada said it is an ocean of LSD. That means an ocean of happiness, in short. But to explain to that person, Prabhupada used that term. So the point is, we are searching for a particle of happiness, not knowing the ocean of happiness is waiting. So therefore, let's not get our path diverted. We have to be resolute in purpose. There would be things which will come, temptations will come in this path. Oh, this person seems to be enjoying life, so-called enjoyment. Oh, my neighbor got a big car or a big house or whatnot. It may seem tempting, it may try to distract. Therefore, we have to be resolute and not get attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which tell, which, because Vedas are like book of knowledge, and Vedas are for different people in different consciousness. Majority of the Vedas talk about fruitive work. Fruitive work means do this, get this, right? But that's not the real goal of Vedas. And we'll talk about what is the real goal of Vedas. Vedeshcha sarver ahameva vedyo. From all the Vedas, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, text 15, I am to be known. Vedas are like the mother to tell Krishna as the father. This is the real goal of Vedas. But Vedas are for different people. And then the person who compiled all these things, Srila Vedavyas ji, was not even satisfied. And Vedas have lakhs and lakhs of verses. So some person will say, oh, I'm following Vedas, picking one verse from here, one verse from there. Will not help. So all the scriptures are compared to a cow. So first Vedas, and then Vedyasji was not happy. Then he wrote the Upanishads, 108 Upanishads, then the Puranas, 18 Puranas, still not happy, because somewhere say, oh, this is best. Somewhere it says this is bad. Somewhere say, well, everything one is God, no one is God, you are God, I am God. It's confusing. Or this person is God. Same with the theory of action and reaction. Some will say the goal is to go upper planet. Some will say the goal is to go here, to go there. It's little hodgepodge. Why? Because the doctor gives the medicine based on the situation. Let's say if a person is smoking like a pack of cigarette every day, or drinking, or any wrong habit. From 20 cigarettes a day, the person cannot come immediately to a path of extreme spiritual realization. So what will the doctors say? Well, rather than smoking 20 cigarettes a day, why don't you smoke 2 cigarettes a day? At least get to that point. So similarly, Vedas may talk about sometimes like meat eating. Oh, but there's some people who are based on sense gratification platform. They'll say, well, Vedas talk about meat eating, so I'm eating it. They will not follow the why and to whom and where does Vedas talk about that process. So therefore, to understand the essence of Vedas, there's a wonderful verse in the Gita Mahatmya. Sarvopaniषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपाल नंदना पार्थो वत्स sudhir bhokta dugdam gitamritam pibat. All these scriptures, Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas, etc., are like a cow. The essence of cow is milk. The cow gives milk when the calf gets the milk. That is the cow's child. The child here is Partha. Arjuna is getting that milk, but you need a milkman. And who is that milkman? Krishna. Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta. So Krishna is giving the essence of all the Upanishads, essence of all the Vedas in the form of Bhagavad Gita. So in short, we don't need to get entangled in the flowery words of Vedas or get our life complicated. Neither we have time, right, to read and understand, and neither we have that intelligence. There's Sanskrit and also. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada has given us Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavatam, which is the ripened fruit in the mature state of Srila Vyasadev's spiritual kind of zenith. He wrote Srimad Bhagavatam. And then he was very happy when his spiritual master Narad Muni told, well, you have complicated everything by writing so many Vedas and Upanishads and Puranas, and people will just get confused, which that's what happens. Therefore, we have different people doing different things, and they all try to justify that what I'm doing is right. Maybe taking one sentence from here and one sentence from here, not trying to understand the essence of the Vedas, the essence of Bhagavad Gita, the essence of the ripened fruit of all Vedic literature, Srimad Bhagavatam. And that is Bhakti Yoga. That is the path of devotion. So we should be careful. Prabhupada is mentioning very nice. As fools are attached to the flowers of the poisonous trees without knowing the results of such attraction. Some trees have poisonous flower. It may appear very beautiful, But a less intelligent person who does not know the purpose behind those flowers or those fruits may take it and try to eat it because it may appear very glittering. Pushpa vatam vacha. It may appear very beautiful. But the person who knows the science behind it will dare not touch it. Will be focused. Oh, this is a bad fruit. This is a not a good fruit. Let me not just even look at that. So that means spiritual intelligence. So those are compared to unintelligent men are similarly attached to such heavenly opulences, short-term pleasure, prayas. But we discussed that we are looking for shreyas. And how will that happen? Bhoga Aishwarya, too much desire for sense gratification, too much desire for material opulence. Bhoga means too much enjoyment, material enjoyment. Aishwarya, too much opulence. Who are too addicted to that, then they cannot be resolute in the path. So a doctor, we go to a doctor, the doctor will give some medicine if one has, let's say, a flu or something, fever or whatnot. The doctor will give some do's and some don'ts. So what are the do's? The good association, the reading of Bhagavad Gita, the chanting of the holy names, etc. And there are certain don'ts also. That means don'ts are the things which are we have to refrain from. Bad association. The people who are too attached, if we keep in their association, what will they talk about? They will talk about how to get more material gratification. What's the new coolest thing in town? How do I waste my time and energy and money in that thing? They will not talk about bhakti. They will not talk about Krishna. They will not talk about the real welfare of the soul. They will talk about the outer body. Why? Because of lack of true understanding. Unintelligent people think that body is everything and to gratify the body is everything. So we have to choose our association very carefully and understand what is the real goal of life and what kind of association I need to keep. So now temptations may come. See, we are on a journey. Now this is the goal. It's not, like a one-day process. But we have to keep, therefore, we need to study Bhagavad Gita and follow this process regularly, not just once a week, not just once a month. Because we are surrounded in the material atmosphere practically every day, right? Therefore, regular study of Bhagavad Gita is important. Any comments or additions, any questions so far? Anyone has any reflections or thoughts before we move on to the next verse? The word used is samadhi. Dhi means intelligence. Sama means fixed or equipoised. That person who is too much, bewildered in 100 things. Let me enjoy this also. Let me enjoy that also. Let me get that. Let me get that. It's like that Kauruva who is looking to the leaves and the trees and the bushes and the branches and the flowers and the fruits. Well, the goal is the bird, and you're looking at 100 different things. Then there cannot be fixed intelligence. Now, in modern times, let's say a child is studying, and then the phone rings. Oh, let me check the phone. What's going on? And then someone is emailing and messaging and okay, let me eat also while I'm studying, and let me do 5 other things also. You think that that person can be fixed in intelligence? No. Same during any aspect of life, whether it is spiritual, and of course for a devotee, everything should be spiritual, even while chanting. Nowadays, we have more distractions with social media and messages and groups and whatnot, and Facebook and YouTube and WhatsApp, and so many other things are there, which are quite distractive. And people just post anything and everything what they like. Anyone can post anything on the web. Anyone can post any video on the web, and it may be quite distracting. So therefore, we should be focused. Now, we are limited, right? We can't hear. So we have to be careful what to hear and from whom to hear also. Otherwise, we'll get distracted. Even on the spiritual path. Even on the spiritual path, you'll see so many Babas, so many Gurus, so many teachers, so many this and that. And if we try to decipher by our own who is right, who is wrong, we will be in a mess. Because every day, practically hundreds and hundreds and thousands of hours, every second, not to speak of every day, every second, hundreds of hours of YouTube videos are being uploaded. It's practically, it's very distracting in this day and age. Therefore, we should be fixed. Otherwise, we will certainly be getting diverted. We should have the right guru, the right intentions, and try to avoid distractions as far as possible. Okay, let's read maybe a couple of more verses. Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nishtraigunya Bhavarjuna Nirdvando Nitya Sattvasto Niryogoshima Atmavan. Yes, Shreya, Mataji, you want to read?
The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of three modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these three modes. Be free from all dualities and from anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. Thank you, Prabhupada.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Prabhupada mentions a beautiful point here. One has to learn tolerance in the face of dualities, such as happiness and distress, cold or warm. And by tolerating such dualities, become free from the anxieties regarding gain and loss. This transcendental position is achieved in full Krishna consciousness when one is fully dependent on goodwill of Krishna. It's a very important verse. I think we briefly discussed. So what are the three modes here? The mode of goodness, Satogun, mode of passion, Rajogun, and mode of ignorance, or Tamogun. So we'll be talking more about these modes as well. But I think briefly to mention that goodness, uplifts us to upper planets. Tamogun takes us down to animal bodies, lower planets, etc. And passion also kind of similar. So everyone is kind of mixed with these. It's kind of like all the colors come from red, blue, and yellow, right? So it's kind of a combination of red, blue, and yellow that everyone has goodness, passion, and ignorance. And based on that, one has different desires. Based on that, one has different actions. And based on that, one will get different reactions. Now, goodness also takes us where? What will be the destination of someone who is acting on the mode of goodness? Anyone would like to share?
Peace.
Peace.
Heavenly planet.
Heavenly planets. Okay, yeah, these are all correct. And what is the real destination? We discuss. That is back home, back to God. So goodness is like building, it's like saving for the next life. Doing activities in the mode of goodness, just goodness. I'm not talking about bhakti or pure goodness. So there's a difference in goodness and pure goodness. Goodness means maybe giving some mundane charity, giving a blanket, and to poor people, giving ordinary, like prasad, or not just ordinary, just food, mundane charity, which has no bhakti in it. Goodness, when combined with Krishna, becomes bhakti. So an example of goodness is giving food. But when the same food to the poor people, let's say, a beggar came, you gave him food, that's called a mode of goodness. Good act, right? Pious activity, good karma. But when you do the same activity, we're not discouraging that, but what we are saying to make it transcendental. That's what Krishna is saying. Become transcendental to the three modes. Also, goodness. First, we uplift ourselves from passion and ignorance to goodness. That means having a regulated life, doing kind activities, etc. But when we combine that with Krishna consciousness, The same food, when we offer to God, the Supreme Lord Krishna, and then give it as a remnants to the beggar or to the poor people or to anyone in general, because everyone is spiritually poor practically in this world, then that will become pure goodness or transcendental activity. That's what Krishna is encouraging here. That don't just be caught up in mundane goodness, which will, it's like you save for the going to a holiday, but after that, what will come? You'll have to come back. So Krishna is not giving us a prayas, not just short term, is giving us eternal solution. So this is the Supreme Lord's creation. Spiritual world, that's our goal. And then there is the Brahman effulgence, and we are here in the material world to give an expanded view of this thing. This is the material world. These are upper planets. I hope you're able to see my screen. Okay, so we are here in the middle planets, okay, right now. So if we do mode of goodness activities, karma or goodness, where will we go? We will go to upper planets, somewhere here, right? These are upper planets, and the topmost amongst them is the Brahmaloka. So one can become Brahma also if one wants to. Indra, Chandra, all these great personalities are here, and they have a specific duty. And if we do bad activities like killing others, and then there will be bad reactions, and then we'll go to Patala or different lower planets. In short, these are called Vikarma. Okay, these are called Vikarma. And the destination will be hellish planets. So Vikarma, V means opposite. So karma or pious activity. What is pious activity? In regulations to scriptures. For example, okay, do this yagya for Indra, do this yagya for Chandra, do this for Surya, do this for this, do there are 33 crore such personalities. And we will be all confused. And doing maybe pious activities like the example of food distribution we discussed. So that will take us only up till here. But you may have seen some buildings, especially all public buildings have this one thing, that you are here and where do you need to go, correct? Where is the exit? In case of you will go to hospital or a public library or anything, everything you will have that. So Bhagavad Gita is also teaching us that this is kind of a zoomed out view. We are here, right? And what's the goal? This is our goal, to go to the spiritual world. Okay, back home, back to God. And what do they show? They show the path also, right? In case of fire, take this path. How will you get to that goal, right? This is the path. This path is going here. It takes all the way to the spiritual world. And what is that path? The Hare Krishna Mahamantra is written here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this is really a wonderful analogy to understand, or a way to understand. So therefore you see this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, this is kind of the zoomed in view of the same thing. Will take us, so a karma will take us back home, back to Godhead. Or we can call it transcendental actions, or actions combined with bhakti. The good karma combined with bhakti is a karma. The example of food distribution I shared. So just food distribution will take us to upper planets. But that will combined with bhakti will take us to spiritual world. Same with giving charity to a poor person, but giving that in the Krishna conscious spirit to help expand Krishna consciousness, to help expand, because this is a real need. This is more subtle. People think that the people who don't have money are poor, but the real poverty is the poverty of the heart. I mean, these crazy, kind of, it's not even right to say crazy, but people are killing each other. Isn't that a bigger poverty than just the poverty of money? People are looting each other and doing all sorts of nonsense things, even having money but using it for wrong purposes. That's a bigger problem. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada came to United States of America, where people think they are very rich, very opulent, very state-of-the-art technology. But Prabhupada said, I have come to give what you forgot to steal. Because the Britishers stole a lot of things from India. Prabhupada said, you forgot to steal one thing, and that is the wealth of bhakti, the true wealth. So very, very important point here to share Krishna consciousness to Vyavasayatmika Buddhir. So we discuss about the three activities: karma, vikarma, and akarma, and some examples also. Any thoughts, any comments, any confusions so far? Everyone knows what's vikarma, everyone knows what's akarma, everyone knows what's karma, pious activity. Okay, wonderful. Yeah, feel free to ask if there is question or if something is not clear. Okay, so we'll keep on to the next point here. Next verse. Text number, we read till 45, so we'll read the 46. Yavanartha udapane sarvataha samplutodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu Brahmanasya Vijanatah. Would someone like to read? Murali, Prabhu, would you like to read this one?
Yes, Prabhuji. All purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So we briefly already discussed that the bhakti process or the akarma process is all encompassing. If one has, let's say, $1 million, then will someone crave for, oh, there's $1 discount, let me try to grab that $1, oh, 50 cent off. So all the purposes served by a big well or a reservoir of water, then one does not worry about these tiny wells, because one is getting the topmost thing, then one will not crave for the lower things, right? If, let's say, one has anything, even in material life, let's say one has a higher thing, one will not crave for the lower thing, right? Can anyone give an example of that, even from a materialistic perspective? I think the money example is quite relevant. If one has, let's say, $10 million, then one will not say $5 here, $50 here. It's nothing compared to that amount. So, but a person of small intelligence will just keep running here and there, who does not really understand the true purpose. So, in the spiritual context, if one has the real wealth of bhakti, understands the true meaning of the scriptures, that from all the Vedas, what is the real purpose behind the Vedas? Is the purpose behind the Vedas to have a better body to enjoy our senses? Is the purpose of the Vedas to go to upper planets and karma kanda, fruitive work? Or is the purpose of Vedas to become a jnani, a scholar? Oh, I know this Veda, I am Trivedi, I am Dvivedi, I am this and that. All these titles in India, these people may not be even aware. But Dvivedi means they were aware of two Vedas. Trivedi means they were aware of three Vedas. Chaturvedi means Chaturvedas, four Vedas. But real essence of all Vedas is not just the getting these titles. They may not have even opened any book of Bhagavad Gita, but their name may be Dvivedi or Chaturvedi, etc. With no offense to anyone, we are not, we're not here to say about anyone. But the point is, one should try to understand the essence of Vedas. And what is the essence of Vedas? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, from all the Vedas, I am to be known. Because he is the cause. Veda, who can tell the essence of Vedas? The one who can tell the essence of a book? The author, right? The author can tell the essence of a book. So Srila Vyasadeva, Supreme Lord himself, and his literary incarnation, Sri Vyasadeva, is telling from all the Vedas, I am to be known. But some people say, well, Vedas say this, so I am following it. And then they'll keep following it and just not knowing the essence. So an intelligent person will try to understand the essence, and the essence is Bhakti Yoga. To understand the and therefore Prabhupada's name is Bhakti Vedanta. The Vedanta, Bhakti is the essence, not knowing. And it was a very nice point here that if one follows the essence of Vedas, even one may be a dog eater. That means one may be a Chandala in the family of a very kind of lower degraded person. Eating a dog is not a very sober thing, but people in this day eat snakes and eat dogs and eat whatnot. But that person can also be uplifted. That is the point here. So, but some people may say, well, oh, Vedas are only for Brahmanas. The Brahmanas who are born by birth. That is not the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is saying anyone can become Brahmana. And we all have, anyone can become a Vaishnava, a Bhakta. That's what we're all trying to become devotees of the Lord by following the process of Bhakti Yoga. Now, this is a often quoted verse here. Karmani vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhur mate sangostava karmani. Yes, Shital Mataji, you want to read translation?
Hare Krishna. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities and never be attached to not doing your duty. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Many people, especially in India, quote this Karmani vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. That that don't be attached to the fruits, which is a very difficult thing. But the next part is also very important. Don't consider yourself as the cause of the result, because we may desire something, like I may desire it should rain today, but will it happen? No, unless the Lord sanctions it. And the Lord sanctions, and through the material nature, Prakriti, it is manifested by the will of the Lord, not by my will. Even in Bible it says, let thy will be done, not my will. Right? So one who has surrendered, one who becomes a puppet in the hands of the supreme puppeteer, the Supreme Lord, then that person is very happy. And therefore Krishna also says, Arjuna said that to Krishna in the later section of Bhagavad Gita, that I will do what you say. Karishyasi vachanam tvai. I will act as per your guidance. So we don't have to stop our karma. We don't have to be attached to the reactions. In short, we have to perform our best with focus, with determination, transcendental activities. To conclude these last few verses, we have to perform or akarma, and then the result will not be bondage of this world. The result will be back home, back to Godhead. So we discuss akarma, we discuss vikarma, and we discuss the karma, pious activities also. And 48 is also quite similar, so we'll read this as well. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhi asiddhayo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Anyone who has not yet read wants to read? Yes, Megha Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna. Perform your duty equipoised, O Arjuna, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga.
Hare
Hari Bol.
Krishna. Thank you so much. So, in short, what is our duty? To first understand our identity and then first understand our duty, right? GITA. And how will we know that? Through the Guru, through Bhagavad Gita. So, Guru, identity, and then comes the two duties. Two duties, conditional duties, constitutional duties. We discussed that. We don't have to give up our conditional duties as a mother, as a father, as a husband, as a wife, as a daughter, as a son, brother. We have all conditional duties as an employee, as a business, whatever we may have. But we have to transcendentalize those. That means make them spiritual and be equipoised. That means dualities will come. Sometimes in business, loss will come. Sometimes failure, profit will come. Sometimes there will be good days at work. Sometimes there will be bad days at work. Sometimes everything will change. Health will come. Disease will come. Wealth will come. Poverty will come. Seasons will change. There's cold season. There's warm season. But the message of Bhagavad Gita is become equipoised, become tolerant, keep going, keep moving with perseverance. And then Krishna will arrange the best. So here's an important point here that Arjuna is advised here. The following of Krishna's dictation is real yoga. Yes, very important point. Arjuna is simply advised to act according to the dictation of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Don't worry about gain or victory. Don't worry about you'll win or lose. So earlier, Krishna gave the understanding of, going to hell and heaven, that if you don't fight, you will go to hell, and if you fight, you will go to heaven. But now Krishna is giving a higher understanding. Then don't worry about heaven or hell, because become transcendental to those. Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Nishtraigunya Bhavarjuna. They become transcendental to the three modes, to the dualities of victory or defeat, or heaven or hell. So this is real yoga, and this is called Krishna consciousness. So by following Krishna consciousness, one can give up the sense of proprietorship. That, oh, this is me, my work, my, I, me, and mine. This is the cause of problem in this world. And one has to understand that I am a servant of the Supreme Lord and a servant of Lord Krishna. And that is the right way to discharge my duty in Krishna consciousness, which alone can help one to act in yoga. So now we can, this is very, very, practical. These are all very, very practical things. And Bhakti is also very, very practical. So a few things to transcendentalize our life, whether we are new to this path of Krishna consciousness, or we have been following this path for last many, many years or last many, many decades. The process is same. And I'll just summarize that with A, B, C, D, and E. This is practical Krishna consciousness, or practical bhakti, or the essence of Bhagavad Gita in practice. Because Bhagavad Gita is not just a theory book, not just to read and memorize some shlokas. That will give very little benefit. But how do we apply? So Bhagavad Gita in application is, we can understand through A, B, C, D, E. A is good association of devotees. So we have to choose our association carefully. If we keep a lot of association of people who are attached to Bhoga and Aishwarya, we'll get those qualities and we'll get those temptations. Therefore, in the next verse, actually Krishna is telling that Durena, maybe we can read that also and then we'll continue to summarize. Durenihi avaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddhaus sharanam avichha kripanaha phala hetavaha. O Dhananjaya, keep all abominable activities far distant, dura, very far. Don't get to the people who are doing abominable activities, or yourself doing those abominable activities. And in that consciousness, surrender to the Lord. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are misers. So association also means disassociation, or not keeping association of those who are, which is not favorable for our bhakti. That's the A. The B is to read Bhagavad Gita, books, Bhagavatam, etc., which will help us to nourish our intelligence, which will help us to be strong amidst all the dualities. So very, very important to regularly read, hear Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, etc. And C is, we discussed the path. You are here and we have to go and take that path of chanting of the holy name. That is the path to take us back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So chanting individually, it's called japa, and chanting collectively is called kirtan. So we must do both. Even if it is collectively, doesn't mean 50 people. It could be just your family members, one or two, or how many ever you have. That's fine. Or even individually, if you live as an individual. The point is to regularly chant those holy names, even if it is for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It will make a big difference. Then D is to offer bhoga, or diet. Our diet should also be proper, and the right diet is to offer the foodstuffs in the mode of goodness to Krishna, and then it becomes transcendental, and then it becomes prasad. And when we take that, it not only nourishes our body, the food in the mode of pure goodness. Now it's not just in the mode of goodness, it becomes the food in the mode of pure goodness, it nourishes our soul. And then E is entering Vrindavan. So that person is always is in Vrindavan consciousness. If we are doing all these things, taking good association of devotees, reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, etc. regularly, chanting the holy names sincerely, trying our best, and honoring Krishna Prasad, serving the deities, whether it's we have a small picture of altar, etc., that's fine. You don't need to complicate it. We don't need to go to Himalayas. We can have all these things in whatever city, or Tampa, New York, whichever city you may be in, India, America, Europe. These all things are very practical. One is a bachelor, or one is rich or poor, literate or illiterate. All those things are far secondary. Krishna does not see all those secondary things. Krishna sees with what intention we try to approach him. So this is practical spirituality, and this will lead to a karma, and then one will go back home, back to Godhead. I'll pause here to take some reflections, additions, or questions. I'm sure all of you have a lot of wonderful things to share. So if anyone has any reflections or additions, questions, feel free to add or ask. Anyone? Even on a practical level, any questions, or during your reading or anything you came across? Yes, Ravi Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, just few things. Chanting, not like chanting is ultimately going to take us to Godhead. That is our ultimate, like goal and the return. But I have personally experienced chanting on a regular basis also helps me to complete my mundane activities. It helps me to recall the words when I'm writing my report for the patient. I'm able to frame a right sentences with the right words collection. Even my memory, like before I used to just like suddenly it becomes anomic, like you can't recall the name. Now it's all is not there. So chanting is not only helping me to, obviously my bhakti is improving day by day, thank you for all the association, but it's also helping me to complete my conditional duties on a very efficient way. It's making me more efficient. I'm achieving more in a less time.
That's wonderful. I'll put your testimonial. Just kidding. It's very good to know. It's very good to know. That's a fact. And that's what is we just read in the first purport. Krishna Bhakta Kaila Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. All the other activities would fall in place. Now, those you may have been heard that Samudra Manthan Leela, right? The demigods on one side and the demons on one side, right? In that Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, which we are reading currently, it is said that the demons were desiring what? Amrit, right? They were desiring Amrit, nectar. And the demigods were also desiring the same. The place, were there different places? They were at the same place. Or the activity they were doing, was it different? The activity was also same. Were the intentions different? Intentions were same, to get nectar. One thing was different. On one side, there was mercy of God, Krishna. And on the other side, there was no mercy of God because they don't believe in God. That's demonic. So, who got the result? Demigods did little endeavor and got lot of result. Demons did lot of endeavor and got zero result. This is in Bhagavatam. So we also, if we apply the same principle, even in materialistic life, as you said, everything will fall in place. Everything will fall in place. Whatever is right, Krishna will arrange. Whatever is not good for us, Krishna will immediately, remove the obstacles. Thank you. Very nice point. Anyone else has any other comments, any additions or questions? Any reflection, something really struck you from this discussion? Mohan, Prabhuji, I'm so glad you're here. You want to share something? I can't see you. Ravindra Prabhu also there. Anyone wants to share anything? We have last couple of minutes to take some reflections here, or any questions, or anything from your reading, from your discussions in Bhagavad Gita, or your practice of Bhakti Yoga. If you want to share, we have a few minutes to.
I have nothing to share, Prabhuji. This is Mohan. I'm just enjoying this.
It's wonderful. This is real enjoyment. Bhakti Rasa.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Has any questions, comments? So, as I said, Bhakti is very, very practical process. And in this path, when done under right guidance, under right devotees, under right Guru Parampara, which we are following, the Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya, and Srila Prabhupada's teachings. So certainly, rest be assured that you are in the right GPS system. This GPS system is correct, goes all the way up to Krishna, Guru Parampara system. Now, the result will be proportional to one's endeavor. Correct? How much we will make progress, how much sincerely with Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, with single pointed attention we try, and the result will be proportional to our endeavor and our sincerity and our how we prioritize it. Again, prioritizing this does not mean that we ignore or become slack in our mundane responsibility as a husband, wife, employee, etc. Rather, as Ravi Prabhu said, one will become more mature. A devotee is, Prabhupada said, my devotee means ideal ladies and ideal gentlemen. So ideal employee, ideal father, ideal mother, ideal brother, ideal sister, or any relation. They become the best of the human beings in every aspect, towards nature, towards other living beings, towards environment, towards other relatives. They become the best well-wishers. A devotee prays for everyone's well-being. Therefore, we chant this verse that may everyone be happy, healthy, may no one see any disease, discomfort. This is a genuine prayer. So Bhakti is very, very practical. Some people think, well, what are you doing practical? Bhakti is the most practical thing. So I just request, I'm just repeating this to myself also, because saying is very easy, but doing, we need guidance, we need support, we need good association of all of you. So please keep doing in spite of ups and downs. Don't feel things will come where one will feel kind of, I don't want to do this, or as I said, the example, there are days one doesn't feel like going to work, one doesn't feel like doing things which one is supposed to do, etc. So ups and downs will come in spiritual journey as well. Health and disease will come. The laws of the world will not change for a devotee. But if we keep trying sincerely, Krishna will give support, Krishna will give guidance, Krishna will send the right association, which will help us to keep going in spite of all those ups and downs. And that is what the Bhakti Yoga process is. And the result is wonderful. Not only after this life, even this life. This life will become wonderful. It's not that Bhakti Yoga means, okay, I'll go back home after my body is dead. It's not like that. Devotees become so sukham. All this is nectarian. This is real nectar. So even in this life and afterwards, eternal happiness. So with that, I'll pause. Thank you again for taking out your precious time and studying Bhagavad Gita. So please keep reading, keep sharing, and keep praying for each other so we can all follow this path and continue to read Bhagavad Gita and share with others. Bhagavad Gita Upanishad ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.
Thank you.
Hari
Hare
Bol.
Krishna.
Prabhuji, Hare
Thank you so
Krishna,
much.